Welcome to Sleeping with Sarah. I'm Sarah Albritton. For my 14th episode, I had not one, but two men that are handsome naked in my bed. They're comedians Eric Oren and Chucho Pérez from the rap group Handsome Naked. You can follow them on Twitter at Handsome Naked, and be sure to check out their YouTube channel. Their album H-Snake is also available on iTunes. This podcast is brought to you by Audible.com. You can download a free audiobook of your choice if you go to audibletrial.com/sleepingwithsarah. I'd like to recommend the book Hunger Makes Me a Modern Girl, a memoir by Carrie Brownstein. Again, that's audibletrial.com/sleepingwithsarah. If you want to catch me doing stand-up, I'll be performing at the Laugh Factory Chicago on June 21st at 7:30. Well, I've got two guys that are handsome naked in my bed, so let's get started with the show.
Sarah.
Hi, welcome to Sleeping with Sarah. I'm Sarah Albert, and I'm here with Handsome Naked. Eric?
My name is Eric Oren, and basically, if you want to know anything about Handsome Naked, the thing you should know is that I'm funny and charismatic and nice, and I'm really likable, and I've also brought Chucho.
I'm Chucho, and I'm the talent.
So how did you guys sleep last night?
Oh, okay. Well, so to be honest, if I'm getting really personal, I've been going to bed pretty early, and I've been sleeping really well, but I've been waking up around 4 a.m. and like having that hour-long hard to get back to sleep thing. And then when you fall back asleep early in the morning, then you sleep too hard, and then when I wake up, I feel exhausted.
That's not too personal. It's just boring.
Which is great for podcast material.
Oh, yes.
I slept well. It was I've had a busy 2 weeks, so it was my catch-up night.
Humble brag.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying, like...
Hey, I've been busy. I've been pretty popular, you know, like...
How it works with me is, like, I'll sleep, like, 4 hours a night for 2 weeks, and then I'll have one night where I just crash. So last night was that crash night for me.
Sometimes
Gotcha.
Chucho will text me in the morning and say that he went to White Castle at 4 a.m, too. I don't know if that constitutes crashing.
Had $25 worth of White Castle.
Does he text you like everything like he does after a certain time? He's like 2 a.m. Like he just starts texting you, Hey, went to White Castle. Hey, I threw up. Hey, I texted this girl I shouldn't have texted at 4 a.m.
Hey, thinking about you. I mean, haha, just kidding.
Hey, just wanted to let you know I'm texting you right now.
Yeah, it's mostly that. Most of our interactions are strictly non-professional. Me and
Nice.
Chucho.
So have you guys ever been in a bed before?
Yes.
Together?
I mean,
Yeah,
I've been in several beds.
times. Yeah.
But yeah, also we just recently we end up for the first time recently. We all our group is
Jesus,
comprised.
get it together.
I know I'm struggling hard. But we have another member of our group named Brad Kemp, and Brad
Deep
and
cuts.
our friend Matt, who's a vocalist who sings on a lot of our stuff. We're all in a hotel room in Houston, and we ended up recording a song, and one of the shots was all four of us in a tiny bed.
Yep.
Oh, that's fun.
So we held that position for quite a while.
Did you guys have to cuddle?
Oh, it was spooning.
Yeah.
Was it a bed bigger than this?
No.
Yeah.
Nope.
It was,
size.
and it was four of us. We were a lot closer than we are right now.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So I don't know if I could fit 4 people. That's what I was trying to figure out. Like 3, I think is probably the max.
You'd have to change the angle, and someone would have to lay at our feet like a lab.
Yeah. Or
someone
just
would be the dog.
just
Who
everyone
in
on
your
a
group
shoulder,
would be
then-
the dog. Like who?
Probably me.
I call him a puppy all the time. Like that's his
Aw.
personality. He has a
So what?
personality
You
of a
like
puppy.
if somebody pets you in the right spot, your leg just starts like.
It starts kicking, but also I'm so cute it's annoying.
You
Yes.
kind of are though. Like you're pretty adorable.
And he's excited all the time for no reason.
But also I'm mean about certain things too. Like
Ooh.
Like if you get near my bed,
What? Yeah. What other things? What do you think?
a
you
resource
about?
guard for those dog parents, for those Cesar Milan fans.
What do you mean about?
I'm not actually.
Yeah.
That was more of a dog joke than a real story.
So many dog bits.
Do you guys have any dogs? Any pets?
Yeah.
He does.
Yeah.
I have a dog of my own named Sawyer. He's a little 16-pound mutt poodle mix.
Of course you'd have a poodle
The
mix.
best. He's the man.
Dad, did you get the poodle mix before or after the fiance?
I've had Sawyer for years now. My sister rescued him and then brought him to me and pawned him off on me. But he's great. He just sleeps on the couch. He's been in the videos before. He's been in the music videos.
He's a superstar.
Yeah,
That's awesome. He's the dog for your videos. That's
Chucho
great.
coddles him sometimes.
That's there's no video proof of that.
Okay, so here's what happened. We went to a 7-Eleven and we were walking Sawyer on a leash, and it started raining by the time we got to 7-Eleven.
It was like frozen rain, contextualized.
And Chucho, up to this point, had been playing pretty stoic about my dog. And I went in to get us some alcohol because we were working on something, or maybe we were just watching basketball. And when I came out, Chucho had Sawyer under his t-shirt.
Oh my! Are you serious?
Cuddling into his skin, and all he said was, "He was cold." I was like,
So you had him inside, like you were like a pregnant. You were like,
he was shivering. He had his little booties on, but it wasn't enough.
aww.
Yeah. Eric just
and
doesn't
you're like,
care
here,
enough
just
about
let
him.
me like.
Yeah, the best thing for being cold is body warmth.
He's an old dog, so he gets cold.
Yeah, that's. So wait, does he cuddle? Do you allow him on the bed?
Well, so dogs get to cuddle, but not on beds. He gets to be on the couch. But if you let dogs on your bed, then they think it's their place, and then they get annoying about it.
See, I've always been about like on top of the comforter, not in the covers.
That's good because
that's
dogs
the
will
rule.
think that's their territory.
Mm-hmm. But I had a dog, but my mom ended up she watched her for me while I was out of town, and she ended up keeping her because they were like, oh, she gets along so well with our other dogs, and so. But whenever I come back home, she still comes and cuddles with me. So
There's nothing better than a dog cuddle.
well, people cuddle, I'd say, depending on the person.
I either want my dogs cuddling me or Chucho and Brad. Those are the only cuddles I want.
Yeah.
Or actually, my fiance.
I was going to said the newly engaged man.
Your fiance, yeah.
Great bits.
Yes. And how did you propose?
He doesn't deserve you, Mackenzie.
We went to Daily Center Plaza Fountain where we had a previous relationship memory where she ran around the fountain earlier on in our relationship and always gave me grief for not jumping in with her. So then I took her back to the fountain on my birthday, and ran around the fountain, and she like refused to get in the fountain with me, and so then I proposed while in the fountain.
In the fountain. That's fun.
Dropped
Was it a
one knee in the fountain.
Was it a scene where other people were?
There were too many people commenting immediately.
Yes.
People are really annoying about when they see stuff like that going on in the fountain.
Like, what did
let
they
them
do?
have their moment.
This lady was like, "Give me your phone! Give me your phone! I'll video it for you! Give me your phone!" I was like, "Lady, just shh. You're ruining the moment, and I have a photographer over there, so shh."
Oh, you were smart.
Yep.
Look at you.
Plan ahead.
And you did it on your birthday, so she wouldn't know.
Exactly.
That's good. What about you, Chucho? Are you,
Nope.
Nope. That was such an easy... Nope.
I know where you're going with this.
Yeah, no. It's hard enough to find somebody that I enjoy being around, and to find somebody that I enjoy being around that actually enjoys me too.
I think that's really hard.
Impossible.
That's hard for everybody, you know?
You're gonna find your person, Chucho.
Aw.
Well, I was waiting on you, and then Mackenzie came and stole you. I said stoled. Stoled you.
She stole you.
Yeah, she stole you. Yeah, you was stole.
This is all great.
How'd you guys get the names Handsome Naked?
Oh man, so this is a thing that's I just hyped up way too much. Yeah. So we when we started doing videos, we created this long list of names. We just both came in with a ton of names.
But they weren't even hip hop videos at the time.
Yeah, at the time we just were gonna be like an improv sketch group when we first started.
Because the world needs more.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, there's
More 2-person sketch groups.
and you can make so much money doing improv sketch.
So we had narrowed it down pretty quickly to probably 5 or 6 names, and Handsome Naked was like my 3rd or 4th favorite, but the puppy dog was like, yeah, dude, yeah, no, this is the one. We got it. Yeah, we're doing that. And I was like,
do you remember any of the other names?
No, and I've been searching for
Spacecki
years
Brothers?
trying to find. No, that came way later.
What is Spacecki Brothers?
The Spacecki Brothers.
That project needs to come back. I actually have video of the choreography for the Spacecki Brothers.
Is that, wait, do you have a voice for the Spacecki?
So, Chucho, I don't actually remember the full genealogy of the Spacecki Brothers. You might have to jump in on this. Chucho and I met in the Second City Training Center and through mutual friends, and then when we were trying to come up with what our group project was going to be, one of the earliest things was like a duo character act where we were these weird brothers, and we had a sort of choreographed dance comedy routine that was a little vaudevillian.
Yeah, that's about as much as I remember from it.
That's funny.
Like, that's the thing.
This is what's gonna get us noticed in the community of vaudeville comedy dancing act.
Oh man,
that's fun.
I don't even really remember. I want to watch those videos bad.
I do not.
Oh, you guys have video of
They're
it.
private YouTube videos.
Oh,
That they were intended to be choreography videos so that we can use learning.
You better hope nobody hacks into your YouTube.
I actually hope someone does. Because it's probably funnier than anything we could intentionally.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Sunday, I think that there should be a YouTube day where people just release their private videos. That should be like a holiday, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How good would that be?
A lot of people would lose their
like-
job.
It could also be lose your job day. It could coincide to the same thing. Get fired from your
We're
job
just gonna
day.
call it the purge. Just you might as well just start killing people.
Like just call it like Whoopsie Wednesdays.
Hashtag Whoopsie Wednesdays. I like that.
I like Whoopsie Wednesdays a lot. Just post a picture that was never meant to be posted.
Yeah.
That could be a premise for a song, right?
Whoopsie
Like
Wednesdays.
Whoopsie Wednesday.
Picked on the toilet. Whoopsie Wednesdays. That was
Definitely a catch tag.
Yeah. How do you So how do you guys come up? Do you guys improvise your raps? How does it come up?
So, you know, we would probably be lying if we said we were freestyle rappers.
Yeah, that's not what
Okay.
we do.
There's to a very small degree can I freestyle. We usually kind of basically what we just did just now to come up with songs.
Yeah, so like Eric and I are morons. So
Yep.
when we're together, we're even dumber. And so we'll just like spitball. We'll come up with an idea, and Eric and I are more hip hop heads than Brad is, and Brad makes all of our beats. So a lot of times Eric and I would be like, "Oh, listen to this song, do this song. This is kind of the style we want." And Brad will listen to it, and in 48 seconds he'll have an amazing beat. It's
What
unreal.
hell of a beat already?
Yeah, I mean,
He's
by the
kind of a
time we're
music
done
genius.
jabbering, he already has a like skeleton beat. It's
Are you serious?
It's unreal.
People don't
crazy.
realize how
Yeah.
talented Brad Kemp
Yeah.
is. He's just we wouldn't be possible without
At
him.
all.
Wow.
He's a music genius.
Yeah, and
That's
so
awesome.
so he comes up with that, and then we kind of go off on our own. We don't really write together a whole lot versus like he'll
It's not
we
a
have
lot
a
of call and
drop.
response
Yeah,
stuff. Yeah.
we have a Dropbox, so he'll put the skeleton beat in the Dropbox. We'll or maybe a couple at a time, and we'll go
In the
off,
cloud.
write our stuff, and then come back, record it, and then he like changes the beat and adapts it to what we wrote, and then we kind of do the same. So it's like a little bit of a back and forth.
Yeah.
But you two write together. Like you sit in the room and you write the raps. No.
We
have.
typically each write a verse.
Yeah.
Ah.
So usually it's like whoever has the time to we'll come up with a beat and like here's the general concept. For example, we're working on a song called Yeah Do, which is basically just a made up catchphrase.
Yep.
Like Yeah Dude, but it's Yeah
Like
Dude.
Whoopsie Wednesdays.
Exactly. So I had a chance. I had the first out of the group. I was like the first person who had a chance to sit down and write for it. So I wrote like an example of what I was thinking when I heard the song / concept. And then it's kind of up to the group if they want to follow that or if everyone's going to go in a different direction. The beauty of having Brad is even if everyone kind of writes a different thing, it's going to all sound like the same song because he's musically talented.
Yeah.
So sometimes the songs are a little more like sketch oriented because everyone's really closely writing the same bit.
Right.
But sometimes it's more just a cool song that everyone approaches differently.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
That's cool. What are your favorites? Because I've been I know the basketball. I remember
Kitchen basketball.
Kitchen
I like the
basketball.
basketball and the one about like adults acting like kids.
Yeah. So that
that's my favorite one.
So
Yeah.
that's interesting. Like that kitchen basketball is your favorite because that's something that we don't normally do. Like we've had a lot of really good concepts or songs that are like that's not really what we want our group to be about.
Yeah.
And kitchen basketball was one that we debated about for a while because it's a parody of Lil Bow Wow, which was a remake
Of
Curtis Blow's song in the 80s. I'm playing basketball. So we're like we don't want to be a parody.
I didn't know it was a remake. Sorry,
It's
I
a
didn't know.
Yeah, most
Direct
people don't.
cut.
Yeah.
See, I didn't
We
realize that.
playing
So I
basketball.
see. I thought you guys were just parodying that song. You know.
And that's what most people like.
Yeah.
That's why at the beginning of my verse, I say I'm about to Curtis Blow because I know that almost nobody that isn't a huge rap fan knows that Bow Wow copied Curtis Blow.
So listeners know. Can you do like, or is that too much to put in the spot? What? How does it go? It goes.
Kitchen basketball?
Yeah. Are you zero first or is it mine? Zero
I don't
first.
know.
On the hardwood floor and playing the kitchen linoleum, though.
You're doing my verse?
Yeah, is that how it
what?
starts?
Yeah. Couldn't go pro on the hardwood flow. I'm king of the kitchen linoleum, though. Dunking
Dunking
all
all
day
day.
because the rim's high level like the NBA. 4 steps,
No
no travel.
trouble.
Oh my God, his moves are nuts. God sham God, cross you up. Stand by the oven, ready to catch. I'll hit you with the J-dub elbow pass. Stand by the... Oh, yeah. See, I'm really good at what I do.
Honestly, and that's funny that we brought that one up, too. 'Cause
Wow.
We do that song very rarely live because
Yeah.
people, it's too specific to get laughs in a live show.
Yeah, like a lot of the
It's
references,
about
like when
NBA players
Right.
from like the 70s, 80s, and 90s.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, who the hell
Yeah,
are those guys?
I honestly don't know who most of the people references are. Like,
God Shem God.
Yeah,
No one knows
no
who
one,
God Shem
no
God
one
is.
knows who God Sham God is. He wasn't even a success in the NBA, but I reference him because he came up with a type of a crossover, and so that's how like
And
God
we
Sham
shot
God
it-
cross
we
you
shot a
up.
specific cutaway of that moment too, knowing nobody would get it.
but you guys did you did another parody about the 90s boy band songs too, right?
We did a Truly Madly Deeply
Yeah.
cover. It was Savage Garden, right?
Yeah, so we view that a little differently. That's something else we talked about for a long time. Is like, what if we took like popular like choruses from the '90s, like Truly Madly Deeply, and we just like rapped our version of it because. They would be like our version of a cover song, so it's like half original,
Nostalgia
half, yeah.
Oh,
So
that's kinda
so
cool.
we don't necessarily view that as being a parody because we're not trying to
it's
make
like a-
fun
it's
of
not like a
anything.
cover.
Yeah, we're trying to like this is
something different.
if somebody came in with this chorus, this is what we would have wrote to it if we
And
were
like
Oh.
for example,
Yeah.
Truly Madly Deeply, like our verses are about when like my verse is about my first slow dance, which was Truly Madly
I was
Deeply.
gonna ask
Yeah.
you if that was a real person because
Yeah.
you mentioned
Robin Carroll, dude.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
That's the real
Oh.
girl
Yeah.
at my first slow dance.
Mine
Did
is
she ever say anything to you?
No, because
Mine is a real person too, and she did say something.
Really?
Wait, what
Yeah.
did she say?
I sent her. She was like, she was my high school sweetheart, basically, and I haven't talked to her in years. She's married with a kid now, and I was like, so I sent her a Facebook message. I was like, hey, this might be really weird, but it might be cool. Like, I wrote a song about you, so here it is. And she, we caught up for a little bit, sent a few messages back and forth. She's like, I played it for my mom. My mom cried because her mom always loved me and stuff. And so yeah, it was cool.
Dream.
Yeah. So I was like, I hope your husband doesn't hate me for this, but I'm not trying to say I want to get back with you or anything. It was just like a moment in our lives.
Be like, hey, don't get your hopes up. I don't want to get back with you, but here's a song I wrote about you.
Right. Yeah, you disgust me now, but here's a.
Hey, sorry that you knew me from your past, but now I'm in a comedy rap group,
Yeah.
and you're a part of my life again.
Well, that's a weird thing because when you're in comedy, you have to be like the people you're in relationships with have to be okay with you talking about your life, you know, and if they're involved in your life or if someone does something, like if you're dating someone and they do something shitty, you're probably going to talk about it on stage or
Yeah, that was
write a song
weird
about it.
because I've always been very adamant about not wanting to date an actress or another comedian, especially. And so I started.
Agree.
Yeah, lucky you.
Yeah. Is yours?
My fiance has nothing to do with comedy.
Yeah, which is amazing.
See, it's hard because I'm around so many comedy people. I try to avoid it, but like I would improv, sketch, yes, but I wouldn't date another stand-up, probably. Probably. This might change in like in a couple of years, who knows?
Yeah. Well, I started like kind of dating this girl who's a stand-up and a while ago, and like I don't know, after we had been hanging out for a little bit, I went to one of her stand-up shows, and she talked about like a sexual situation that her and I had, and it wasn't it didn't bother me that she did it, but it was like, oh my, like I've never had that happen to me.
Yeah.
Like she
Oh.
was talking about
Was it weird? Like how did
T-Swifted you.
did you feel weird about it? Did she warn you about it?
No, she didn't tell me anything about it. It was she just got up there and did it, and it was thankfully
She
it
just
was
assumed
positive
you'd be dead.
things.
Oh,
about
it's
the sexual-
positive things?
yeah.
Okay,
So
so
I
it
was
wasn't
like,
like a weird thing. You're like,
yeah, it wasn't like, oh, this guy did this, and
Or
wow,
whiskey did
what
this,
a,
or-
what
Don't
a
you
tiny
hate it when you're
penis.
hooking up with a guy named Smurf Smurf Smurf? And it's got a micro penis.
Hey, let's not joke about that.
That's a real medical condition.
condition.
Oh yeah, brother.
Yeah, but it was odd.
Yeah. So did she do any other bits about you, or just that one?
Just that one, and I don't know if she has since.
Yeah.
Or if she's
Was
done
it a
that
bit
again.
about your
Was
bit?
it funny?
Yeah, I mean, it was like she was on a show where it was like all comedians trying all new material, and so yeah, it was a pretty good bit.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always interesting to. I don't know. I don't know if I've ever dated someone that listened to a bit I did about them. I don't think so. But I've definitely I've done things where I'm hooked up with someone that ended up hearing a bit. But
yeah,
and it's like
that's why you can't hook up with other comics, because all comics do is go out and perform.
Yeah,
so they're gonna hear your bit.
How else? But I mean, people, they're mature. I would like to think none of us are really mature, but
I was gonna say though, I have seen comics do that whole I broke up with another comic, and then do it in a really good, a funny, genuinely. I'm being dead serious. I used to run an open mic forever, and it happened at my open mic. It may be someone you know.
Yeah.
It was great. It was the funniest thing I've ever seen, and everyone loved it.
Well, I think that it can be done well. I think there's a couple people that have done that well. I think Jeff Arcuri's done that well, and I think Emily Galati's done it well.
That's who I was talking about. I didn't know.
Arcuri plays the sad guy very well, though. So when he's talking bad about himself, it's generally going to work. He's very funny.
Yeah.
Jeff is great.
Emily's thing was so smart.
It was so funny.
Yeah.
I was like, you are a genius. I love that bit. And it was in the right room. It was later at the open mic, and it was all it was full still, but it was all comics who knew who was in. It was just so funny. She had the whole room just in tears. It was so good.
I mean, that's just the way.
So just use it. Just do it and use it, and it worked.
That's the only thing that sucks is I've only had short term I haven't had I went through a bad breakup a couple years ago, a big breakup, really bad, and I'm like, man, I wish I was doing comedy then because I would have written so much stuff out of my.
So does it feel weird to you to go back and retroactively mine that? Sort of
I try to, but it's a little weird because I'm actually over that, and so it's weird to try to go back to where I was super depressed before I found comedy, and it's
Well, I mean that's your first mistake is you can't let anything go ever.
First of all,
we've learned never let anything go.
That's more petty. That's the first step.
I will never forgive Eric for letting Sawyer be cold.
Also, there's that one time that we were playing kitchen basketball, and I hip checked you into a door and broke your hand.
So wait, you guys actually play kitchen basketball?
Oh yeah, that's how it came from us playing many, many hours of basketball in Brad's kitchen.
Yeah. Because while we're that's how we're when we were spitballing ideas and stuff, we would just be playing, the little Nerf basketball.
Oh.
And we were like, holy shit, guys, we're already geniuses.
Eric broke my hand.
And you think I need to have a basketball net or something in my...
Yeah. The answer to that question is always yes.
I haven't played I played basketball in middle school, but I'm competitive. I'm hard-headed with it, Good. But I was always a guard. I haven't played actual basketball in a while.
Oh, yeah. I played in college.
Yeah. You played for college? Yeah. Oh, wow. You're good.
Well,
Yeah, maybe. Chucho's good. He can splash, man. He's got a good shot. He's got a weird-looking shot, but it works.
Where'd you go for college?
Aurora.
Aurora?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. That's awesome.
It's not really weird. It just happens faster.
Yeah, it's very quick. Quick release. It's just I just flick it up there.
Yeah. It's annoying.
That man, it goes in.
Yep.
That's all I got anymore because I broke my ankle and I still have a torn meniscus in my knee, so I lost most of my athleticism. So it's I can still shoot.
Yeah. So you're hey, that's your thing. You're the king of horse. You're the king of horse.
I'm gonna just stand there. I'm not gonna play defense. I'm just give me the ball. I'm gonna shoot it.
We played in a men's league for a while with Calvin Evans.
Yeah.
It was fun. We were our team wasn't bad at all. We
got to the championship game with all of us injured.
Yeah, I got hurt the second game, and then I never healed from that injury.
Yep.
Sucks.
I haven't looked at this camera in 10 minutes.
It's okay. You don't have to look. You can look at each other.
Looking at the camera.
A lot of times I've been looking off.
Giving a death. No, you don't have to look at it. Basically, this podcast. The audio version goes on iTunes and all that stuff, but then there's the video is just something for me to put on YouTube.
Okay, because most of the time I've been looking not at you or the camera, just kind of off into the distance here, and so it's probably going to look really weird. What's over in that corner? Nothing.
I've actually thought about putting some poster or something to view visually up top.
That's a good idea.
I just don't know what.
Just a mirror.
To put that would make it look less likely.
I actually have a joke about that because I'm nothing glass above the bed, you know what I mean? Because I'm worried that if I ever am around someone, I always worry that they if a guy's not worried about the glass falling on top of you during sex, then it's probably not going to be that good. So why do that?
Yeah, it's no need to distract.
Yeah,
that's the funny thing though. The mirrored bedroom thing. I don't know if you guys have ever come into contact with this, but houses in the 80s, in the 70s and 80s, there was usually oftentimes there was the guest room would have mirrored ceilings and walls.
What?
Like in Los Angeles, I only say this because my family's all from Los Angeles, and like for example, my grandmother's house growing up, she had a no joke sex. I feel like it had to have been. I know she wasn't using it for that, but in her house she had a room where all the walls and ceiling were like this like magnetite dark mirrors. And it had an orange neon light around the top of it.
What?
So when you're
That's
saying
like a cocaine room, like a cocaine sex room.
So when you're saying a lot of houses in the 70s and 80s, you meant the Oren's houses in the 70s and 80s.
That wasn't even our house. That was my grandmother's house that my mom never lived in. It wasn't like her growing up house. But then, like, their neighbor and the person across the street, who were their good family friends, had similar, like, weird... Maybe it was this neighborhood?
Is your grandma hot?
Maybe they were all part of, like, a...
Yo, did grandma hot? No.
Yeah, your grandma hot,
No, dude, maybe that...
Yeah, I'm single.
Maybe that community... maybe just that one community in Sherman Oaks
maybe they
is
were
just, like, a fuck party.
Yeah, maybe they were all swingers, and that was their thing.
Ew! I mean, my grandpa was a pro boxer, so he was in pretty good shape till pretty late, but then he went downhill fast. So maybe he was just...
Maybe he's like, hey, I know when I go down, I'm going to go down fast, so I might as well just live it up while I can.
Weird. Because I always thought, like, oh, that must have been from the last owner, but, like, what if my grandparents were using that?
Dude, you just get really uncomfortable.
No, that's cool. My grandpa's dead.
That is a great sentence.
I don't mean to laugh.
Nah, it's cool. My grandpa's dead.
It was just bad juxtaposition. That's not why it's cool.
Oh, shit. I forgot to turn my phone off.
Wow, and you
I know. I guess I could chalk this up to nerves, having two guys in my bed for the first time, but my phone went off and I accidentally unplugged something. Super smooth of me. So we took a minute or two off, and now let's get back to the podcast. Yeah, we took a minute to cuddle, so no big deal. I just noticed you have nail polish on.
Yeah, so this is a pretty new thing for me. I went and got a manicure, and I was like, because I hadn't had one in like 10 years, I was like, you know what, I kind of just want to paint like 2 or 3 of my nails. And so I did it, and I like it. So then I live with Shantira, who is another improviser in the city. And I was like, Tira, you got to teach me how to paint my nails so I can do it myself. So she taught me to put on like the clear coat, the new nail polish, and the coat over it and stuff like that. So yeah, I did it, and I'm going to keep doing it.
That's cool.
Yep.
Just a couple
fingers.
More
sense when you explain it again.
It doesn't?
I like it. Here's the thing. I've said this before. When I heard Chucho say that this was his new thing, I immediately liked it a lot. But I still don't get it at all. I don't understand what changed in your brain. Because knowing your personality, going from silly grumpy man to being like, you know what, I think I do want to have a couple nails painted. Well, where did that come from? I love it.
I think I'm just so grumpy because of Torco.
Okay.
Wait. So you're on tour?
I tour with Second City. Yeah.
Which
That's like
group?
Second City Family. Greenco.
Greenco?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
I've been touring for 2 years now.
It's just tiring.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just, being on the road for 2 years is just a lot.
Is it all the time? Like every?
I would say probably about a third of the time. Like a lot of people think that like they don't call me for projects and stuff because they're like, oh, you're on the road. I'm like, no, it's like 2-3 day trips or maybe 5 day trips. Then we're back for a few days and gone. So it's just constant back and forth.
Yeah. So you could still be a part of something. You know, like the way you guys are. You guys meet. Like, how often do you guys come up with videos? Like a couple a month, or
we kicked it into high gear a few months ago. For a long time. I mean, we put out now two EPs and 2 full albums.
Yeah.
But so how many songs is that?
We're around 50 songs in 3 years.
50 songs?
Yeah, but it's
that is a lot.
Yeah, it's really less than 3 years because our first year was really slow, and then a year and a half or 2 years into it, Brad went on the cruise ship for Second City. So there's 6 months where he didn't do anything. So we average over a song a month, well over a song a month.
That's awesome. And then who else do you? So you've got Brad and the 2 of you. Is that the core?
Yeah, that's the core. But we recently. And not really recently, actually, over the course of our last 2 albums, we started working with Matt Payne, who's a vocalist. He's like an R&B kind of a feel. Yeah. And he's just wildly talented. Yeah, we just love the guy. He adds a lot to the sound, and he writes similarly, and he also has the same desire to meet frequently. Yeah. Which has been so much a part of Handsome Naked, is to just be working on something even if we don't know exactly where it's going next. Yeah. So he's become definitely an honorary member. We take him on the road with us. He goes to these we're trying to book the college market, so we're using Matt to to be one of our a little piece of the puzzle that has value.
So for any hip hop fans out there, Matthew is like the flesh and bone to us. We're Bone Thugs Dogs in Harmony. He's like, they called him the fifth dog. Like he was always with them, but he wasn't technically part of them. Or he's like the CeeLo to our Outcast. Like he's on all our albums and all of our songs. So
I like that you started
with Flesh and Bone.
Yeah. A lot.
And I know you've done some stuff.
Two people will understand.
You've done
that.
stuff with like Chris Red too, right?
Yeah.
You guys did that at the show back in like October, right?
Yeah, he's been on 4 of our songs now. Yeah. He's on one for our new album.
We shot a video, or we're finishing the shoot for a video tomorrow and the next day that he's on and recorded with. So we are set to record a single with Chris, and it's probably next month.
That's awesome, especially with the new stuff that he's. Yeah, it's great. I'm super happy for him.
Perfect.
Yeah, I mean, that's my family. Like, I went to high school with Chris. Like,
I've
known him forever.
Oh damn.
Yeah, so it's like I know and friends with other people who have been successful, but it's different with Chris. Like that's really family.
Well, I just remember seeing him come up before I met him, and knew him at a couple mics and stuff before he moved to LA. But he was always just working super hard, and
he's a good dude,
the absolute hardest worker I've ever been.
Super the nicest guy. Like even when I was like a month or two, and he was still super nice. He wasn't. Some people can be weird about that.
I think I met Chris right around, if not through Chucho, like right around the time that I met Chucho.
And how long has this bromance been brewing?
Oh gosh,
4 years?
Yeah. Yeah, and for a while, Chris, you guys, Chris and Chucho were in a project together called The Freshmen way back.
Yeah.
And then, Chucho did his show for a little while, and then we started working on Handsome Naked stuff. But really, from the get-go, Chris is always like, he's always been really down to like write stuff and be like prepared to record.
Yeah, well,
which has been the entire, like, basically people are always like, hey, I want to get on a Handsome Naked track. And I'm like, great, write something.
Yeah.
That's how we do it. And
yeah,
because
is that how you do that?
We often turn people down if they have a full concept and a verse written. Yeah, because no one does that.
That's the problem. Is like so many people are always like, let me get on a track, and it's like we're always coming up with ideas and like something. Recording, and we're doing stuff, but it's like. You're a lot more likely to get on a song if you come to us with a concept, or you come to us with like a verse ready, and we can work around it. Like we're doing.
What
so
about
much,
like a chorus, but not the verses because I don't rap?
If we like it, we can work with it. Like that's the thing.
I mean, I could rap. I mean, I think I could. I've done like karaoke rapping, but I haven't rapped.
Yeah, I mean, we've had people come in and sing, and we have Matthew Payne sings choruses or bridges or even verses now on our stuff, and we bring in a lot of live musicians. We have cellists, bass players, trombone players, and all that come in, and we just kind of like to bring in people who are talented, and we're like, here's what we have, do what you do, and we'll find a way to make it work. Yeah. So if we believe in people's talent, we're like, just come in and you do you, and we'll work around your talents.
A lot of collaborating going on.
I want to do some kind of song eventually about the narcolepsy, like falling asleep randomly different places, and just video me falling asleep random places and stuff.
Narcolepsy, untouched hip-hop gold.
I don't know if that would work, but I think that'd be
Sarah
fun.
the Narcoleptic.
that could be my rap name, right? Sarah the Narcoleptic.
Well,
for a while, we were giving everyone that started with us rap names.
Oh, wait, what were your rap names?
So Sarah Hoffman is a good friend of ours. She's an improviser. She's actually a really dope rapper.
She's great. She's been on 2 or 3 of our songs. Yeah,
she's been
amazing.
on other people's stuff since. She's a great
one of
musician,
our favorites.
So but when she first came in, I was just goofing around, and we ended up calling her Lady Loose Juice.
Yep.
And it stuck.
Lady Loose Juice.
Lady Loose Juice is her rap name. For sure.
And we gave
loose.
He gave Brad Deep Cuts.
Real early on. Bradley Deep Cuts count, baby.
There's 1 or 2 others that I can't remember off the top of my head, but yeah.
And what were your nicknames?
That's something that we never wanted it to be like. Yeah. Caricatured. Like we didn't want this to be like, oh, we're playing people, so we're always
so you
just
guys are always
Yo
just
and Chucho.
Yourself.
Yeah.
And Chucho.
So we're kind of like what it wasn't really intentional at first, but we realized very quickly when we were making songs that who we are on stage doing this is just heightened versions of ourselves. Yeah. So like my grumpiness and arrogance, I just like turn it up a little bit, and Eric's puppy dog excitedness, he doesn't have to turn it up.
He just has it up.
All I do is take attention in varying degrees.
Yeah, and then I just kind of get mad at him for doing that. It's kind of like the game we play.
Oh, that's fun. That's a good dynamic.
Yeah, and so we realized real early on. Oh, there goes the goopy.
Oh,
I know that sound.
Yeah,
I shoot on GoPros too.
You do?
We're so constantly doing these like ragtag video shoots,
Yep.
I'm fully aware. We have technical difficulties every damn day.
Yep.
Yeah. No.
It happens.
Cool.
Ain't worried.
Well, we'll back again. So, anyways, yeah. You earlier, what was the question you asked me earlier before we started recording?
Was it how many men you've had in your bed?
Yes. This is the most men I've had in my bed.
Okay, so how many people you've had in your bed then? Is that the other question?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Have you, what about you guys? Have you?
How many people I've ever had in my bed?
Yes, the most number of people you've had in your bed.
Well, it was the Handsome Naked time when we were 4 dudes
That
in
was
bed.
your bed.
No, actually, no, that's not true. Nope.
That was a hotel bed.
That was a hotel bed. My bed, the most people, my bed that I currently sleep in, only 2. Myself and my fiance.
And a dog.
And a dog, 3. You're right.
Yeah.
3 people.
Dogs aren't people.
Dogs think they're people, and for that reason, they'll count.
They don't. 1.
Oh, Chucho. My dear sweet Chucho.
Does a picture of a dog count? so 2 then, right?
That's funny. No, and so do you ever feel the pressure, like, you're like, oh, I'm part of Handsome Naked. Do you always feel like you always have to make sure you're handsome naked then?
Oh, I would like to pretend like we're so big a deal that we have to like make a distinction between how we act in the public eye and how we act. Well, we're not. The fact matters, we're not. We have big plans and we have a lot of stuff scheduled and we're working really hard. But the good news is that the whole thing came about by like basically us doing what we were already kind of doing and then just kind of giving it a name and getting better at it. So the good news is that it's not very hard for us to be Handsome Naked. It's very based on what already existed.
Oh, that's great. You know, like it's always like a weird thing when you're part of a group that's like a heightened persona of yourself, and it's like whether it's a character or not. You know.
Yeah, it was a good quick mesh of like writing styles and personalities, and it got better.
Yeah, well, I feel really fortunate because for the first many years of me doing comedy, I had Chris Red, who can match my work ethic and much surpass it. And then, when he kind of got busy doing all of his being famous things, and I was like, oh man, I thought I had, the Jack Lemmon to my Walter Matthau. And then, I was lucky enough to like not only meet Eric, but then bring Brad in, and now, Matthew becoming a bigger part of it. And it's like, I feel fortunate enough that in my comedy career, I've had 2 kind of different groups of people that have similar sensibilities and work ethic, which I think is hard in this.
It is,
especially in group settings. Man.
Mm-hmm. Like even for my group for Secrets, we meet every week, which is kind of unheard of in the stand-up world. Because we write sketch. We got like we've got like 3 or 4 sketches every month, so we had to meet every week to do that. And for stand-ups, they're like, wait, you rehearsed for a show? Like, what? Yeah. Like, but...
Dude, that Elliot Lerner is hilarious to me, and always has been, and I've told him that before, but he's hysterical.
You guys have very similar, I think, silliness. Yeah. Like, that's that puppy dog kind of thing, I think, is both you and Elliot.
He's a funny kid. He's a really funny kid.
I love him. He's such a sweetheart. Yeah. Like, the 4 of us have gotten just, like, super close.
That's awesome,
since doing this.
You guys run a great show. We had a really good time doing that show.
Yeah, that was
awesome. Upstairs room in the elbow room is awesome.
Yeah,
I love that place.
It's fun. What I like is it's shaped like a triangle, so there's no back of the room. There's no back of the room. It's great.
It looks great on the camera too.
And they let us do whatever. They let us just be silly or whatever with it, which is awesome.
It's great. I had a great time when we did it that last time.
Yeah. And so you are moving to New York, right?
Yeah, pretty soon here. We're looking at a move to New York in late August for a film school program for masters.
How long is a master's? Is that 2 or 3 years?
It's 3 years, but the 3rd year is sort of dependent upon where you want to complete your thesis project. And as of right now, that would be in Chicago with a sort of a Handsome Naked centric television product that I'm
like a pilot.
Something along those lines. Yeah,
I love that. That's awesome.
That's kind of what we're working on.
That's a goal in a few years. I'd like to maybe pitch Secrets as one eventually.
Totally.
Like as like a variety show kind of thing.
Yeah, there's now as the things change, people can, you can produce your own product these days.
Oh, and that's what I like about the way things are going. It's like, hey, if you've got the work ethic, you can do it. You know,
team and you can get it done. Yeah, for sure.
I think the hard thing is like finding like directors for certain things. The directing part is finding the directors is the hard thing. Because there's plenty of people that
skills, the camera skills and the sound capture skills and all that.
That's a little bit harder to find. And especially fine for very cheap.
Yep, that's for sure.
But the nice thing about Chicago is you can film like anywhere, right? Like you
just steal footage everywhere.
Yeah, I mean the thing is like with New York or LA, I hear it's like really hard. Like if you have anyone like basically you have to have extra people holding lights because if you set a light down in a park, then technically you have to pay like $500 for a permit or some shit.
It can be like stolen and all kinds of garbage. That's why like small sets.
Yeah, you guys have pretty simple stuff. Do you film a lot of stuff at your houses?
We use our houses. We use places we can steal footage. Just like when I drive around, I'm constantly like, oh, there's a place, and then we just kind of we just go. We do the best we can to plan things so that we can get them done in a day. Because
you film all your things in a day.
The fact of the matter is, it's really hard if we're gonna try and get any kind of continuity for a look to come back to it a second day. So we just, if we can get everyone for a full day, yeah, and like clothes and lights and you name it, and costumes, you know what I mean. So we try to get everyone available for like 4 to 6 hours and just get it done. And if we have to change plans, we just come up with a plan B, C, D, and then just have coverage. And having a finished product is better than never finishing the video you're working on. Yeah,
that's what drives me nuts. It's like if I want to do video stuff, I try to get it done. Like
if you don't finish it and work on the next project, you're not getting better.
That's good. Yeah. And so usually near the end of my podcast, I usually ask people like because we didn't really talk much about sleep, but that's okay. Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. It's fine. But I usually ask people like what your dreams, not like dreams at night, but like what your dreams are for the future, your goals for what you guys want to do.
I want to have the freedom to do what I want at all times. So not like, if that makes sense, like not be beholden to like financial things or beholden to like contractual things for, working for someone else. Like I want to produce the things I want to produce and act in the things I want to act, rap in the things I want to rap in, and like just do as much of what I want to do at all like moments of my life.
That's cool.
I like that. I think, and for me, it's along the same lines, but it wasn't very clear to me until recently. I would like, for sure, in my life, to be responsible for, whether it's producing and directing, or in some capacity in large way, responsible for a cult following, web distributed television product, because it allows you to do kind of what Chucho was talking about. If you have something like that and you have a cult following that is expecting a product of some kind, a major offering, you can tour off of that following. You can sell merchandise off of that following. You can crowdfund off of that following and create anything that you want.
See, I think that's smart. Like, what I like about, and that's why I've been working on a web series thing too, but the reason I want to do a web series is because I can at least create something that I want, that is pure, that is written the way we want, produced the way we want, so that
and you don't need anyone else's lip service of
we don't have to
sell this for you. Or
change it, because at the very least, even if it never gets sold, even if nothing ever happens of it, I created this thing, this 8-episode thing, or however many it is, that was purely mine and my vision.
Right.
Because I've been reading, I read stories and even like great series, like Freaks and Geeks, that was amazing. The reason they were allowed to get away with what they were getting with, because they knew they were getting canceled. So they were allowed to like take those risks and do weird shit, because they're like, we know this, whatever. We know the head guy hates us anyways, so and I think it's kind of rare with the network thing. I don't know, CISO might be a little different.
I don't think networks have any bread and butter to give people like us anymore, to be quite honest with you. Because you can't have that cult humor in the network setting anymore. You know what I mean? Evidence is all of the sitcoms that have one season and get canceled. You look at any major network, and they have had 5 canceled sitcoms in the last 2 seasonal.
They don't give them a chance.
Well, but you can't appeal to the American public in general with any base level. Like, look, you're only going to write one Big Bang Theory, and the rest of them are going to be garbage, base level, common denominator crap.
I think you just described Big Bang Theory.
It is, absolutely, but it's somehow successful, which sucks. But in the Netflix and the Hulu and the web distributed world, you can be a different type of humor.
But there are some shows like the Don't Trust the Bee in Apartment 23. If you've watched that series, that is written really well.
I haven't seen that.
And that was only I think it was technically 2 seasons. Like it was 1 full year.
Yeah, it just doesn't last because they put too much pressure on them.
Yeah, because it's like you got to get numbers, and I just I kind of like the Netflix, the Hulu route where like Netflix, Aziz Ansari is like, hey, I want to do 8 episodes of this thing, or whatever many episodes this thing was. He's like, I don't know if I want to make it a series. I'm just going to do it as a thing, and if it's well, he'll maybe do it again.
Yeah.
But that's why I really like these different channels that are taking risks, or even other ones like TV Land with teachers and with Younger. Both of those series are both written well.
And True TV, they just bought a bunch of narrative pilots too. A lot of non-primetime networks are like, all right, well, there's a lot of people looking to make stuff, and now they can for a cheaper price. We can buy it rather than financing a production.
Yeah, or paying like residuals to just rerun
buy
shit.
This outright and put it on for a season, and then that was it. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know. It's just such a weird spot because I mean, it's the landscape's changing so much. Like, what's it going to be like in a year? You know, we don't know.
Don't quite know that. That's for sure.
But
exciting.
So you want to be? Are you going for directing then, or
it's a filmmaking program? It's masters in filmmaking. So I'll probably pick a concentration once we get underway. But as of right now, I don't have one.
And then another quick question for you guys both: when did you find out that you could rap? Like, was this just something, like, you're, like, listening to, like, B.I.G., like, growing up, and you're just, like singing along, you're like, oh, yeah, I could do this. I mean, is it just something, like, you discover, like...
Chucho?
I've always just loved hip-hop. I remember getting in trouble as, like, a 7-year-old for... going around my house and quoting lyrics from Snoop Dogg's album, and my mom was like, "What the hell is that?" So like hip hop's, I guess you could say, just like in my bones or whatever. In middle school and high school, I rapped like most people did in that time. Like not really, with my friends writing verses and stuff. But I was a slam poet.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. So
have you ever been to the Green Mill?
I used to go there in high school. Like, I won, like, regional competitions.
Wait,
and stuff.
You were, like a real...
Yeah.
Do you still do it?
No. It's a ridiculous art form.
Wait.
I love it. I love it. It's cool, but
he's like, I was a big deal as a slave poet, but, it's a ridiculous art form.
As like as a 31-year-old, I feel weird doing it. Like, as a 19-year-old, it was like, yeah, this is cool. But, like, 31, I'm like, nah, whatever. But I guess I'm cool rapping, though. That, I make no sense. But yeah, so, like, they're similar, at least. And I mean, you can tell with us if you listen to our beginning stuff from 3 years ago, how much better we've gotten, because we never wanted to hide our progress. Like, we even had people advising us, being like, oh, no, don't perform, don't do this. Like,
not rappers.
And we're like, we want people to see our growth. So if you listen to our old stuff from musical side to lyrical to like even flow, and I mean everything about us is just gotten so much better, which is exciting because we don't feel we've plateaued. We keep feeling like every time we record we're getting better and better, and so it's cool to grow as a rapper.
That's like cool. Accidentally now I'm a rapper.
Yeah.
So it's like it very much started as like a sort of musical sketch that was in a hip hop vein.
Yeah.
And then as we did more of that and got frustrated with being treated like we should be on sketch stages, which is not a bad place to be. But like we wanted to become a music group. So we started very specifically focusing toward being able to do that in some parts of an album, but also being able to put out a hot song. Which is so much harder than I realized it would be. To write a cool verse is so hard. Because we were focusing on like landing rhymes on words you wouldn't have in a rap song, but then all of a sudden it's like just write a cool sounding verse, which is where we're sort of trying to find a middle ground in there.
So we've tried it a few times, like very intentionally. Like we have songs like "Making It Rain," which I rap about the common phrase "making it rain," like in a strip club, like spreading money. And Eric talks about how rain clouds form. So like that's like,
and then he's like, "No, like I do it." And I'm like, "Okay," and then I escalate it. It's very much
that's very fun.
Yeah. So it's a very specific joke, and it's a sketch made into a song. But then we have other songs that we've done later where we're like, "Whoa, let's see how it." Works just on the other side of the thing. So like on our last album, our opening track, "Fool Around," like it's not a comedy song. There's no really jokes necessarily in it. It's just us rapping for a long time. Now, us being comedians, it's just going to naturally be funny a little bit, but it's just a straight rap song. Like when we perform it, people don't laugh. They just enjoy it for the musicality, which is nice because then we can fit in both venues. We can go to a rap venue.
Nice. And that's because we have Brad.
That's because of Brad.
Would never appreciate the musicality.
Yeah.
But
Eric and I are the faces of the group. Brad and Matthew are the talent. We always say that.
Yep.
We
do the most talking, but not the best talking.
And all of you are actually handsome naked, right? Is that the joke?
Boom,
definitely.
That's
always
funny.
handsome when naked, but ugly when fully clothed.
Yep.
And then is there anything upcoming, like if people want to find you or?
Well, we're doing, I don't know if it's going to be out in time. We're doing the Chill as Fuck show this Saturday night. Chris Higgins' little lick at the Second City, which is going to be fun. And we are putting out probably a couple music videos. Other than plugging our online presence, nothing specific at the moment. Yeah,
new album coming this fall. We're starting our college tours in December. Is our first booked gig, and then a few more like next spring already booked.
So at Handsome Naked on Twitter and Instagram, and then Handsome Naked for our Facebook page.
And Spotify, SoundCloud, iTunes, wherever you listen to music.
Fantastic. Can you grab my phone? And I will... And then I usually end the podcast with us just saying good night.
Good night.
Good night. Thanks for listening to Sleeping with Sarah, where I slept with Eric Oren and Chucho Pérez of Handsome Naked. You can find out more about them at handsоменакed.com. Do not Google that, just put it in the URL, trust me. You can also follow them on Twitter at handsоменакed and check out their YouTube channel. This podcast is brought to you by audible.com, so go to audibletrial.com/sleepingwithsarah for your free audiobook. I'm releasing a new podcast each week. Be sure to tune in to find out who I have in bed with me next. Thanks to Josh Bryant for the music. You can also view the video on YouTube or follow me on Twitter at Sarah Albritton. Until next time, good night.
Sleeping with Sarah.